Folks, we have already made videos on the Mike Babcock saga, as well as Patrik Laine being healthy scratched. But somehow, someway, this Columbus Blue Jackets franchise has found a way to get even more embarrassing. Not only have the Blue Jackets been surrounded by drama all season, they are also somehow worse than they were last year, after losing practically everybody to injury last season. Not only has it felt like the Blue Jackets team has given up, but it feels like Blue Jackets fans as well are giving up, and it could result in some massive changes at the very top. But what is wrong with this Blue Jackets team? How have they been so bad, and what could happen next? What big changes could we see in CBJ? Well, make sure you watch till the end as we go through all the rumors, all the news, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new for more hockey content just like this all throughout the year as we break down the biggest stories in hockey. Now, before we get into just how bad this Blue Jackets team has been, and especially that brutal game versus the Islanders, let's first talk about today's sponsor in Underdog Fantasy. My favorite and soon to be your favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. As for today's picks, y'all, we got one versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, Robert Thomas. I'm going to predict higher than 0.5 assists tonight. I also got Evan Rodrigues versus the Penguins, higher than 0.5 points. Both players have been on a heater. Evan Rodrigues on that first line. I think this could be a really good one. As for my first picks in Underdog Fantasy, I actually got both of them right, with Quinn Hughes getting higher than 1.5 points and Mika Zibanejad higher than 0.5 power play points. What a haul. So make sure you go to the description, sign up to Underdog Fantasy, and use promo code GRAB, and you'll get a special offer. Underdog is going to offer an 100% match of your first deposit up to $100. This is not an offer you'll want to miss out, folks. Underdog is also offering a new customer special as well, with a special pick'em to pair to any player. Underdog is also operational in 30 plus US states, including California, Texas, and Florida. So again, go to the description, sign up, and use promo code GRAB, and thank you so much to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring today's video. Now, the straw that would really break the camel's back for a lot of Columbus fans was this last game versus the Islanders. The Blue Jackets would start the game absolutely horribly, like a lot of games this season. They allow the Islanders to come right in, a horrible clear attempt there. Dobson's able to sweep in a perfect pass. Boone Jenner left speechless, and it's 1-0. In the second 6 minutes in, the Blue Jackets are trying to get something started. Kent Johnson enters the zone. Adam Fantilli misses the net, but it's perfect to Emil Bemstrom, and it's 1-1. And then you would have this 2-1 goal by Adam Fantilli, man. Absolutely bless his heart. He was trying everything on this play. A great move around, between the legs pass, up the ice. The Blue Jackets are able to keep it going, and thankfully a great passing play finds Fantilli, and he makes no mistake. Unfortunately for the Blue Jackets, the Islanders would continue to cream them with perfect passes. Cal Clutterbuck, what a goal. The Blue Jackets unfortunately would get some poor luck here. Shot goes off of Kent Johnson's leg right to Barzal, and nothing you can really do about that. Still in the second, after blowing a 2-1 lead, the Islanders would continue to pour it on in the power play. Perfect passing, and the Blue Jackets just have no answer. The Blue Jackets were able to get some puck luck of their own here. Adam Fantilli, right place, right time, and that's a 3-point night for him. Unfortunately, the Islanders would continue to pour it on, and the Blue Jackets defense would continue to get exposed. I mean, what are you doing on this play, guys? And it's just been sad to watch this season just how poor Columbus has been. I mean, I think everybody expected them to be a lot better than they were last year. After having so many man games lost, they were in the trenches with injuries. But here's the big problem. Not only has Columbus not improved from last season, especially with a much healthier roster, they are worse than they were through the first 28 games last year, which I thought was seemingly impossible. Coming from the CBJ Center on Twitter, which for all those Blue Jackets fan pages out there, I am so sorry. But looking at the stats, last year with Columbus in 2023, through their first 28 games, they were 10-16-2 with 22 points on the year. This year, in 2023-24, through the first 28 games, you probably know where we're going with this, it's an 8-15-2 record, 2 less wins, 1 less point, and last year was about as bad as it could have gotten for them. And rightfully, as CBJ Center says, this feels like a repeat of last season. Some could argue even worse than that. This city and fan base deserve so much better. But then you look at some of the decisions that Pascal Vincent has made, and it's kind of a joke at this point. I mean, the guy has tried to bring so much accountability onto the team, but for what? I mean, this team is garbage, and he hasn't really been able to do anything with his systems to make that a different story. You see this tweet from Aaron Portzline after the Kings game saying that Adam Fantilli played 10 minutes, Kent Johnson 8 minutes, David Jiricek 10 minutes. At some point, this lost cause of a season needs to turn over to the kids who have outplayed the vets in most games. Can't kid yourself that this season is still about this season. But Aaron makes a great point. Besides maybe Voronkov and Marchenko, Fantilli has been the Blue Jackets' best forward this season. Kent Johnson has looked really great since his AHL call-up and has not gotten a lot of playing time. David Jiricek continuing to get better and better, has also not gotten a lot of time. I'm not really sure what Columbus's strategy is here. They're obviously not winning when they're trying to win, and it's just been a complete joke. And it's even more eye-opening. You look at this game versus the Islanders. This is the time on ice in just this game alone, but it represents a much bigger problem with the Blue Jackets in general this year. You look at the ice time, and you can see Jenner, Gaudreau getting those minutes. It's not the worst thing in the world, even though they definitely were not worth those minutes in that game. But you got players like Justin Danforth, who are a -4, getting 17 minutes and 26 seconds. But you look at the players that were actually playing well. Adam Fantilli, who got 3 points, was looking fantastic, got 14 minutes and 51 seconds, which is among the highest in his NHL career so far. But the fact that that's among the highest with all that he's done with Columbus is just honestly embarrassing. And you also go down the list of actual time on ice this entire season. This is the Blue Jackets and all these players ranked by ice time per game this year. And you can see you got players like Marchenko, 11th in total ice time. You got players like Adam Fantilli, 14th on the team in average time on ice. You got David Jiricek, 18th in average time on ice. You got Dmitry Voronkov, who might be their most complete forward in the NHL this year, 23rd on the team in average time on ice. I don't understand what the hell is the problem with this Blue Jackets team. Why are they doing this to themselves? They don't have to be this bad. This is a self-inflicted wound time and time again. It's as simple of a decision of playing your better players more minutes, but for some reason, the Blue Jackets just don't understand that concept. Unfortunately for Columbus, there's not really many saving graces analytically, as they're pretty much in the exact same spot in the standings that were projected. You can see in terms of expected goals for per 60 at 5-5, Columbus is 21st in the NHL. And in terms of expected goals against per 60, only 3 teams in the NHL are worse, with the Blues, Sharks, and the Blackhawks being below them. The craziest thing is for Columbus, it could actually be much worse. In terms of the goaltending, Elvis Merzlikins has actually not been that bad. He has a plus 6.92 goals saved of expected, one of his best seasons in years. And Spencer Martin too, who I am surprised is an NHL goaltender still, this year also hasn't been too bad, just a minus 0.65, so about average among the NHL right now. So the fact that those two goaltenders are playing decent to actually pretty good, and the fact that the Blue Jackets are still this bad is baffling. I mean, Merzlikins was horrible last year. Columbus's goaltending was demonically bad last year. This year they're actually pretty good. Yet the Blue Jackets are still finding ways to lose left and right. But just from top to bottom, the decision-making, the players that should be much better, is just embarrassing. You have Adam Fantilli as your third-line center. You look at Leo Carlsson as an example who has been given everything possible to maximize his potential early, playing a couple less games here and there to get some full rest. But when he is playing, he's given top power play time with great players against solid opponents. He's been given this opportunity to really seize his NHL potential, and he's ran away with it. You compare the two players, and it's an absolute joke. Leo Carlsson playing 18 minutes and 20 seconds of average time on ice per game while centering the first power play unit in Anaheim. Then you got Adam Fantilli, who plays an average of 15 minutes and 19 seconds. After a few games, gotten a little bit better, but still is not playing what he needs to play. The difference is startling. I mean, Fantilli's on the second power play unit, third line center position, while every game that Leo Carlsson plays, he's been given the perfect opportunity to do something in the game. Well, Adam Fantilli has to work every single shift to prove himself for some reason, even though he is clearly ahead of so many other players. And now you look at this Columbus team, who is third last in the NHL in points percentage with a 3.75. Only the Chicago Blackhawks and the San Jose Sharks are worse, which we all knew they were going to be in the bottom of the basement. With Columbus, we expected them to maybe be in the 20 to 25 range, at least improve a little bit, man, be somewhat competitive for some part of this season. But they're third last in points percentage right now with really no signs of getting back up. They're going to be in the bottom 5 of the NHL standings by the time it's all said and done. There's no chance this team, with a lack of dog in them, is going to be able to do anything after this. But you look at it, and it's no surprise the Columbus Blue Jackets are in this position. The Mike Babcock fiasco and how Pascal Vincent has come in and tried to salvage this team. I mean, his recipe has been a disaster. It has been egregiously bad, and every single game that goes by, he proves that he's not an NHL-worthy coach. Jarmo Kekalainen proves that he shouldn't have the job that he does have in Columbus. This is a top-to-bottom failure by this Columbus franchise that should be in a much better position by now. It's honestly incredible the fact they lucked into Adam Fantilli yet are still using him the way that they are. It's simply embarrassing. This Columbus franchise has cemented themselves in wanting mediocrity for the rest of their lives. It makes zero sense why they would play the players like they do, keep the players that they are, keep the people in positions of power that they have been. It has just been a joke from top to bottom, and it's obvious that changes are needed. Jarmo Kekalainen is obviously a GM that we've seen a lot of times make big moves, is not afraid to make those big moves, and that is a good thing, I feel like. But for Columbus, we have seen his transformation. We have seen this team that he's tried to build, rebuild, try to retool, and how much of a disaster it's been. Bringing in Patrik Laine, who has not been able to be the player he needed to be, Johnny Gaudreau, who has been a bust as a free agent, the leadership that has come in, which has just not worked, the goaltending, which has continued to be a joke, the defense that has not gotten better in any single way, bringing in Provorov and Severson of which is not a defensive defenseman by any means, and Provorov, who has failed to live up to any potential he had. Jarmo Kekalainen should not have a job today. He shouldn't have had a job yesterday, and it's obvious he should not be GM of this Blue Jackets team. And then you have this tweet by Aaron Portzline to really wrap it all up. Many fans extremely frustrated with Columbus play/results so far this season, as you'd expect. I've heard from quite a few fans in comments on social media and in direct communications who have turned away and stopped paying attention or investing emotionally. And I don't blame Columbus fans whatsoever. I don't blame Columbus fans for not going to games, not watching games, not paying attention. What's the reason? Besides Adam Fantilli, Voronkov, and Marchenko, what's the reason? What's the reason to tune in with this Blue Jackets team? Give them any money at all. They obviously don't deserve it. The reason why I do believe Jarmo Kekalainen should be fired in the end and there should be some massive management changes is, yes, they've drafted well, they've gotten some great prospects in the end, but what's most important as well is what you're bringing onto the roster now. Which players are you investing in? Which players are you trading for, giving big money? And almost every single big player that they've given money to, have traded for, have acquired, has been a bust, has not been as good as they should be. And that is really the breaking point. Sure, the prospects could be fantastic, they can carry the load, but still, Columbus will need to make changes within the team over these next few years. How do you trust Jarmo Kekalainen to bring in the right guys? Because he just has not. And it's obvious that for the Blue Jackets, the head coach needs to be fired. The coaching staff just needs to be completely rehauled. The management needs to be rehauled as well. I don't think ownership will do it because they haven't fired Jarmo Kekalainen up to this point, especially even after the Mike Babcock fiasco, which should have been a fireable offense in itself, which we haven't even talked about as much today as we probably should have. But everything about this Columbus team is embarrassing, and I feel for Blue Jackets fans right now. You guys deserve so much better than this team. You guys have been so loyal, so incredible to a team that just has not been good over these past couple of decades and really shows no signs of getting better. But let me know what you guys think down below. What do you guys think of this Columbus team and just how bad they've been? Did you predict it? Do you think they would be much better? What were your expectations heading into the year? And what do you think Columbus does next? Do they fire Jarmo Kekalainen? Do they make big changes to the team? Who do they trade? Let us know all your thoughts down below on this joke of a franchise right now. And make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you guys enjoyed the breakdown, and share the video with all the hockey fans, all the Blue Jackets fans that you guys can find. And I will see you in the next one. Actually, click this card for all my hockey trading content when I go on playlist. And I will see you in the next one. Have a great day and goodbye.